Jeez. That was a tough one. So I'm getting ready to replace these ball joints and lower control arm and a few other parts. And this is one way to do it. When you remove, you need to drop this down so you can wedge a piece of wood underneath the upper control arm, which would work. But I read a few too many posts, I think, and scared myself shitless. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. It's more work, but it's safer. And I just bought this online from, I think it's Days was the name of the company. But, it's pretty solid. It replaces your shock, and it's a lot safer. This is removing the lower control arm, and there is this bolt going through the bushing was frozen. This was pushed in more, and I hammered it from this side, did all I could, did it with a few different things, and there's a couple different options to remove it. It seemed like cutting it was the main thing. You take a sawzall and you cut here, cut there, and pull this bolt out. The other way was some people were heating it with the torch. And another way was with a ball joint press. They're pressing the bolt here and pushing it, pulling it through basically. But it looks like I might have another way that seems to work. So this bolt was pretty much all the way in, and when I was pounding on it, I got it to maybe push out about that far. So there was a gap right here. Sprayed it with penetrating oil, but this looks like it just, this pickle fork basically wedged in here. So it's almost out. I'm going to spray it a little bit more. And but that looks like that's going to do it. There we go, bolts out. Start off with some anti-seize on the bolt, so I won't have to go through that again. It's got a flat side on it. Take the shock out, and this is going to replace it. So it takes a little more time, but it's a lot safer. It's a lot more solid. Cotter pin. It's ball joint separator. Just a stock, any auto parts store will have it. This one's not as bad. Here's what the other side looked like. And this is the new one. I can't even move it. So on the new one, just add your bleeder, your grease, bleeder screw, and then just fill it with grease. Removing the sway bar connector. I believe this gets around 60 pounds of torque. And I'm not quite sure if you need to have it on the ground. On the lower control arm, when you tighten that one or torque that one does need to be on the ground. These, I'm not too sure, but around 60 pounds. You got to make sure when you're torquing this down, you have find the hole for the cotter pin. Make sure you have enough room to get it in there. There's 2 bolts underneath here on, I think it's the strut bar. I'm going to loosen those and drop this down, and then I can replace the lower control arm. Here's the 2 bolts that were holding the strut bar to the lower control arm, and there's the cam bolt right up in there, rusty one. Cam bolt, it's got to come out, and then the lower control arm can come out. Somebody said you needed to remove this crossbar, the engine kind of support thing. But I didn't have to do it on the other side, just that bolt got stuck in the bushing, and I had a different way of pulling it out. But first I got to remove this bolt for the ball joint and drop that down. Jeez, that was a tough one. There it is. So finishing up, make sure you got your grease nipples on here, cotter pins in after you torque it. And then I'm going to set this down, and then I'll go ahead and tighten that bolt right there for the adjustment, and then take it down and have it aligned and everything. I'll pull this support out, put the shock back in there, and then we'll take it for a test drive.